Hi students, good morning to you all. This is Radhakrishna. In previous videos, we were discussed about the classification of S-block elements, introduction of S-block elements, and physical properties, chemical properties of alkali metals. Alkali metals. So now coming to this video, we are going to discuss about the compounds of alkali metals. Compounds of alkali metals. So compounds of alkali metals, their preparations, their chemical properties and uses are all are discussed in this video. In this video we are going to discuss about the compounds of sodium. So first of all we are going to discuss about the one compound, most important compound, that is sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide. In this video we are going to discuss about the preparations So in this video we are going to discuss about the sodium hydroxide, about the preparation of sodium hydroxide, next physical properties of sodium hydroxide, and the next one is chemical properties of sodium hydroxide, and finally we are discussing about the uses of sodium hydroxide. All these concepts, especially sodium hydroxide, are discussed in this video. Now coming to the preparations of NaOH, sodium hydroxide. So there are two main methods for the preparing of sodium hydroxide. So first one is Nelson cell process and the second one is Kastner-Kellner process. There are so many processes are available for the preparation of sodium hydroxide, but out of all these preparations, so the best preparations or most important preparations are two. So first one is Nelson cell process and the second one is Kastner-Kellner process. Okay, so now coming to the Nelson cell process. So in Nelson cell process, the NaOH is prepared Okay, so in Nelson cell process, so the NaOH is prepared by the electrolysis of NaCl. Electrolysis of NaCl solution. So that means aqueous solution. So what is the meaning of electrolysis? So electrolysis means by applying the current, we are doing the chemical reactions. So those processes are called as electrolysis. So by doing the electrolysis process on NaCl solution, we can prepare the sodium hydroxide. In electrolysis process, there are two main contents are present. So that one is cathode and anode. For any electrochemical related processes, so that means electricity dependent reactions, so there are two main, one is cathode, other one is anode. So coming to that, in this cell, in Nelson cell, cathode is perforated steel rod is used as cathode, and anode is graphite. The electrolyte is, so electrolyte means which can undergo chemical change. So is NaCl solution. is NaCl solution. Now coming to the chemical reactions that are present in Nelson cell process. So now coming the reactions at anode. Now we are writing about the chemical reactions. So first at anode. So at anode oxidation takes place. So before we are going to the anode reactions, the NaCl, when we are passing through the current through NaCl solution, this NaCl solution is readily undergo cleavage and it forms Na plus ions and Cl minus ions. Na plus ions and Cl minus ions. Again the water molecule is readily undergo cleavage and it forms H plus ions and OH minus ions. H plus ions and OH minus ions. So now we are coming to the chemical reactions which are takes place at anode is, so Cl minus, we are taking 2 Cl minus, so then it is readily undergo reaction and is converted into Cl2 molecule, that is chlorine molecule, so which is gives 2 electrons. So I am doing the what is the meaning of oxidation? So oxidation means the removing of electrons takes place. The removing of electrons takes place or are increasing the oxidation number. Increasing the oxidation number is called oxidation. And the reverse process is called reduction. That is addition of electrons takes place. Addition of electrons takes place and which is converted into corresponding decrease in the oxidation. So those processes, oxidation number, those processes are called reductions. Okay, so now coming to the cathode. Cathode always reduction takes place. So here addition of electrons takes place. So now we are taking plus adding 2 electrons which produces H2 gas plus and 2 OH minus. I am taking 2 molecules, then it will produce as H2 molecule as well as 2 OH minus, Okay, so now coming to the next one, so the final reaction. Now we are writing the final reactions. So in this final reaction, the remaining compounds, so 2 Na plus ions. So 2 Na plus ions. So because we are taking 2 Cl minus ions, so here 2 we are taking 2 2. So then so 2 Na plus ions plus 2 OH minus ions, so undergo combine, so it will produce 2 NaOH. This is the preparation of NaOH in Nelson cell process. Okay, so again I am repeating that in preparation of NaOH mainly 2 processes are important. So first one is Nelson cell process and the second one is Kastner-Kellner process. Now coming to the Nelson cell process, in this process, so generally so electrolysis of NaCl takes place and NaOH is prepared. So for this we are using electrolysis process. There are 3 main. So first one is electrolyte, anode and cathode. So for the cathode purpose we are using perforated steel rods, and for the anode purpose we are using graphite as anode. So and electrolyte. So electrolyte is NaCl solution. So when we are passing to the current, passing the current through the NaCl solution, NaCl always aqueous solution, passing through the current and passing the current through aqueous solutions, then ionization takes place. So in ionization 2 NaCl is readily undergo ionization and it converted into 2 Na plus ions and 2 Cl minus ions. 2 Na plus ions and 2 Cl minus ions. Similarly, water is undergo also cleavage, so it is H plus and OH minus ions. However, it is not important for us. So now coming to the chemical reactions at anode. Chemical reactions at anode. So at anode, oxidation takes place. That means removing of electrons takes place and increasing the oxidation number. Okay, so here the oxidation number is -1, here the oxidation number is 0. So the oxidation number increases to -1 to 0. Generally negative values are having lower than 0. We are taking 1, this is higher value, followed by this, followed by this. So that's why, so the oxidation number is increases. So because of that purpose, okay, so the here oxidation takes place and the Cl minus ions undergo combine to remove by releasing 2 electrons, So now coming to the reaction at cathode always reduction takes place. So and so in this case 2 molecules of water is readily taking 2 electrons, and here I am writing that H plus ions. So here it is plus 1 state. Here it is plus 1 state. Now the 2 electrons are taken by this H plus ions and converted into H2 gas. The remaining are 2 OH minuses are present. Okay, so these Na plus ions and 2 OH minus ions are readily undergo combining, and so it forms 2 NaOH. This is the preparation of NaOH by using Nelson cell reaction. Nelson cell process. Now coming to the second preparation of NaOH is Kastner-Kellner process. For this process, so look at the diagram. So in this diagram, there is a rectangular vessel is present. I am writing it here. Rectangular vessel is present. This rectangular vessel is divided into 3 compartments. This rectangular vessel is divided into 3 compartments. That is first compartment, second compartment, and third compartment. In these 3 compartments, okay, the outside compartments are called outer compartments, and the middle one is called middle compartment. So now coming to this, okay, set outer compartments. So this cell construction, we are observing that this rectangular vessel is divided by a plates. So we are dividing this rectangular vessel with non-porous plates which are not touch. Which are not touchy on the at the bottom of the vessel. Okay, so these 2 non-porous mediums are not touch on the bottom of the vessel. So and mercury is bottom at the table. Okay, mercury is present at the bottom. So I am here it is mercury. So this mercury is present at the bottom of the vessel, and divide the vessel into 3 compartments. Okay, so in this process, okay, so in outer chambers or outer compartments, in both outer compartments, so cathode is in both outer compartments, cathode is mercury and anode is So like look at the diagram. This is out Hg and this one is graphite. This one is graphite. Here mercury is acts as the chemical formula for mercury is Hg. Here mercury acts as cathode and graphite acts as anode. Graphite acts as anode. Both outer chambers, both outer compounds. So now coming to the middle compartment. Middle compartment. So in middle compartment, so a cathode is series of iron rods and anode is mercury. So in this process mercury acts as cathode as well as anode. So at outer compartments mercury acts as cathode and at middle compartment mercury acts as anode. Mercury acts as anode. So in initial stage both outer compartments the electrolyte is 10% NaCl solution. The electrolyte is 10% NaCl solution, which is called brine solution. Which is called brine solution. So now coming to the middle compartment, the electrolyte is dilute NaOH solution. Dilute NaOH solution. Okay, so now I am again repeating that I am taking a rectangular vessel. By using non-porous plates, we are dividing this medium. We are dividing this vessel into three compartments. So two outer compartments, one is middle compartment. Okay, so now these two non-porous mediums or plates not touch at the bottom of the vessel. So at the bottom of the vessel mercury is present. So this mercury can divide the vessel into three compartments. So in outer compartments we are taking brine solution as an electrolyte, that is 10% NaCl solution, and in middle compartment where the NaOH is prepared. So now coming to the cathodes and anodes that are present in the outer compartments as well as middle compartment. So we are coming to our outer compartments. Here cathode is mercury. So here the mercury acts as a cathode and anode is both graphite rods. Now so coming to the middle compartment. Here a series of iron rods. A series of iron rods acts as a cathode and mercury acts as anode. So this is the construction of Castner-Kellner cell. So now coming to the process that is involved in the Castner-Kellner process. So first of all, so when the electricity is passed through the this vessel, then so the brine solution NaCl solution is readily undergo cleavage. So and forms NaCl is readily undergo cleavage and it forms Na plus and Cl minus ions. So I am taking two molecules of NaCl. So 2 Na, 2 Cl minus 2 ions are present. Okay, so now coming to the this Castner-Kellner process at outer chamber reactions. Okay, so the process. So after this, when the electricity is passed, the Cl minus ions undergo oxidation at anode and evaluated as a Cl2 gas. Okay, so evaluated as a Cl2 gas, which is like this. So this is Cl side. Both outer chambers, the outlet is coming Cl2 gas. Okay, so at anode oxidation takes place and the Cl minus ions are readily releases electrons and converted as Cl2 gas. This Cl2 gas is coming out by using outlet. So in both chambers. in both outer chambers. Okay, so now, so the Na plus ions which are present at outer compartments are discharged on the mercury chamber, okay, so sorry, mercury electrode, and converted as NaHg, forms sodium amalgam, so this is sodium amalgam. Okay, now coming to the cell, so here both cells, so the bottom of the cells, one bottom of the cell is restricted, and other bottom of the cell is fixed with a wheel. So this gives the rock motion to the cell. This gives the, so this setup at one bottom of the cell is fixed, and the other bottom of the cell is fixed with wheel. So when we are passing through the electricity, and this gives the rock motion to the cell. This gives the rock motion to the cell. Because of that rock motion, the NaHg which is formed at the outer chambers is coming to the middle chamber, and it can be converted into NaOH. This is the process involved in the Kastner-Kellner process. Coming to the chemical reactions which are involved in the Kastner-Kellner process. So first one, chemical reactions at outer chamber. So NaCl is readily undergo cleavage and forms 2 Na plus and 2 Cl minus ions. So we are taking 2 molecules of NaCl. So first at anode, that means graphite. Outer chamber means graphite acts as anode, mercury acts as cathode. So always at anode oxidation takes place. I am already saying that the Cl minus ions which are formed in outer chamber, so undergo oxidation. So that is 2 Cl minus ions undergo so oxidation, so and forms Cl2 plus 2 electrons. Suppose I am taking only one Cl minus ion, so then Cl minus ion, it forms half Cl2. That's why I am taking 2. Ions. Okay, so next at cathode. It reduction takes place. Simply we are saying that releasing of electrons, it is oxidation. Addition of electrons, it is taking of electrons. Okay, so removing of electrons takes place oxidation, and addition of electrons takes place. That process is called reduction. So here, so 2 Na plus ions plus 2 Hg, that is cathode, and 2 electrons, so takes place. We are getting 2 NaHg. Sodium amalgam. We are producing sodium amalgam. These are the chemical reactions at outer chamber. So now chemical reactions at the middle chamber. We are writing the chemical reactions at middle chamber. So now first one at anode. Again oxidation takes place. So again oxidation takes place. That means 2 NaHg is undergo. Okay, so then 2 Na plus ions plus 2 Hg plus 2 electrons. It produces 2 electrons. Now coming to the at cathode. So at cathode means reduction. The two electrons it produces two OH minus ions and H2 gas and H2 gas, and the final reaction is plus 2 OH minus, which gives 2 NaOH. 2 NaOH. The overall cell reaction is the overall cell reaction at the middle chamber, at a middle compartment is, I am writing here 2 NaHg, 2 NaHg plus 2 molecules of water. 2 molecules of water undergo combining, so it produces 2 molecules of NaOH plus 2 Hg plus H2 gas. This is the preparation of NaOH. Okay. When the electricity is passing through the solution, the NaCl which is present at the outer chamber readily undergo ionization. So NaCl plus NaCl gives rise Na plus and Cl minus ions. This Cl minus ions undergo oxidation at graphite, which is anode, graphite undergo, and it produces 2 electrons. It produces 2 electrons, and the Na plus ions which are present at the ionization, so goes to the cathode, and discharge as NaHg, when this HL, the bottom ends of the HL at one end, so we are fixing this one end, and other end is fixed with a wheel. So then there is a rock motion is obtained to the cell. So due to this rock motion, so the NaHg which is produced at the outer chambers, are moves to the middle chamber. So now coming to the middle chambers, so at a anode, that means at mercury, so the reactions are 2 NaHg will give 2 Na plus 2 Hg, 2 electrons. At cathode, the 2 water molecules can absorb these 2 electrons, and it produces hydrogen gas. This hydrogen gas is evaluated as H2 in the middle chamber as outlet. Okay, so and the remaining 2 Na plus OH minus are combined with each other and produces 2 NaOH. So the overall cell reaction at middle compartment is 2 NaH plus 2 H2O will give rise to 2 NaOH, 2 Hg plus H2 gas. This is the preparation of sodium hydroxide by using Castner-Kellner cell. Now coming to the properties of NaOH, physical properties and chemical properties of NaOH. Now coming to the physical properties of NaOH, so NaOH is we are already discussing that NaOH is a deliquescent compound. NaOH is deliquescent compound. That means when we are taking that NaOH and it is readily undergo liquefaction and readily converted into liquid. That means readily converted into liquid. So NaOH is highly deliquescent compound, and it is also called caustic soda. NaOH is also called caustic soda. So what is the meaning of caustic? So caustic means Okay, caustic means so burning of skin or organic tissues with chemical reactions. Burning of skin or organic tissues with chemical reactions. When we are taking NaOH and put it on the skin, unfortunately it is put it on the skin, then it is caustic in nature. That means it can destroy the skin by chemical reaction. That's why it is called caustic soda. NaOH is called caustic soda. So and it is a strong base. NaOH is a strong base. That means when NaOH is dissolved in water molecule, when NaOH is dissolved in water, it is freely gives OH minus ions. It is freely gives OH minus ions. That's why NaOH is called strong base. NaOH is freely soluble in water and gives OH minus ions. We already know that according to the Arrhenius equation, Arrhenius theory of acid base, the compound which giving OH minus ions more frequently in water is called strong base. So that is the definition of base according to the Arrhenius acid base theory. So NaOH is a strong base. NaOH is a strong base, and it absorbs CO2 from air and forms Na2CO3. Sodium carbonate is formed. So in atmosphere lot of CO2 is present. When NaOH is taking out, then it is absorbing the CO2 from air and forms sodium carbonate. So we are taking that two molecules of NaOH plus CO2. So it produces Na2. This is one molecule, Na2CO3 plus H2 plus H2. So this is the general reaction when the NaOH is displaced in the air. So highly deliquescent compound. These are the physical properties of NaOH. Now coming to the chemical properties. Now coming to the chemical properties of NaOH. So first one, I already say that NaOH is a strong base. NaOH is a strong base. The first preparation is the first property, reaction with acids. So when NaOH reacts with acids, it forms when NaOH reacts with water, it forms salt plus water. When NaOH reacts with acids, it forms salt plus water. So this reaction is called neutralization reactions. When an acid or base reacted with each other, they are producing salt plus water. They are giving salt plus water. This reaction is called neutralization reaction. So I am writing some reactions. So I am taking NaOH plus HCl. HCl means hydrochloric acid. It undergo reaction with each other and produce NaCl plus water. This is sodium chloride salt. Okay. So again I am taking another example. 2 NaOH plus H2SO4 sulfuric acid, which is undergo, so it produces Na2SO4 sodium sulfite plus water molecule. Here two water molecules are produced because of 2 OH minus ions and 2 H plus ions. So these reactions are called neutralization reactions or acid base reactions. So when an acid or base reacted with each other, so they produces always salt plus water. They always produces salt plus water. So this is the reaction with acids. And the second one is reaction with non-metals, reaction with non-metals. So sodium hydroxide is reacted with non-metals like boron, silicon, phosphorus, halogens. So boron can NaOH can readily undergo reaction with boron, silicon, phosphorus, halogen like non-metals, and it does not participate in the reaction. It does not reacted with hydrogen. NaOH does not reacted with hydrogen, nitrogen, and carbon. These are also non-metals. They are participated in the reaction with the bismuth, silicon, phosphorus, halogens, sulfur. All these non-metals are participated in the reaction with NaOH. But when coming to the hydrogen, nitrogen, carbon, these are not participated in the reaction with NaOH. So first one, we are taking boron. When boron reacted with NaOH, it produces sodium borate. I am writing the reaction. So 2B plus 6NaOH, it gives is 2 Na2BO3 plus 3H2 molecules. 3H2 molecules. So this is the reaction of boron and NaOH. Okay. So now coming to the, I am writing the reaction set here. So we are taking silicon. We are taking the silicon. So when NaOH reacted with the silicon, it produces sodium silicate. Chemical reaction which is involved in the reaction of NaOH with silicon is here. So Si plus 2 molecules of NaOH plus water, it produces Na2SiO3, sodium silicate plus H2. So now coming to the reaction with the phosphorus. So when NaOH reacted with the phosphorus, it produces sodium hypophosphate. When phosphorus reacted with NaOH, it produces sodium hypophosphate. So I am writing the reaction, chemical reaction of this reaction is I am writing it here. So here phosphorus P4. Okay, this is red phosphorus, and which is reacted with NaOH. So then it produces Na2H2PO4. Sorry. Na2H2PO2. This is the chemical formula for sodium hypophosphate, and also produce PH3. So here we are taking 6 molecules. and then here it produces, okay, so 3 Na2H2PO2, that is sodium hypophosphate. Sodium hypophosphate. Again I am saying the chemical properties of sodium hydroxide. First chemical property is reaction with acids. Reaction with acids, it forms when sodium hydroxide reacted with acid, it forms salt plus water, because sodium hydroxide, we already say that sodium hydroxide is a strong base. So when an acid reacted with a base, they are producing always salt plus water. So those reactions are called neutralization reactions, and we are writing the reactions. So reaction with HCl and reaction with H2SO4, both are acids. When they are reacted with NaOH, they are producing salts and water. Okay, so now coming to the second reaction, reaction with non-metals. Reaction with non-metals, when sodium hydroxide reacted with non-metals like boron, silicon, phosphorus, halogens, etc., NaOH undergo reaction, but it does not participate in the reaction with hydrogen, nitrogen, carbon. So now coming to the boron. So when boron undergo reaction with sodium hydroxide, it produces sodium borate. It produces sodium borate. The chemical reaction in this reaction is 2 boron atoms undergo reaction with 6 molecules of hydrogen. It produces sodium borate, Na2BO3, and hydrogen is evaluated in the reaction. So now coming to the silicon. So when boron reacted with silicon, it produces sodium silicate. When sodium hydroxide reacted with silicon, it produces sodium silicate. So the chemical reaction is Si plus 2 NaOH plus water molecule, it gives sodium silicate, Na2SiO3. So and the hydrogen is evaluated. So and other one is phosphorus. Reaction with phosphorus. When sodium hydroxide reacted with phosphorus, it produces sodium hypophosphate. So P4 plus 6 NaOH will give rise to 3 molecules of Na2. I am writing it here. Na2PH2O2. H2O2. So our hydrogen is written at this side also. So this is the chemical formula of sodium hypophosphate. This is the chemical formula of sodium borate, Na2BO3. And other form is sodium silicate, that is Na2SiO3. These are the chemical formulas, so that are formed in the chemical reactions with boron as well as silicon as well as phosphate. Boron with sodium borate, so silicon with sodium silicate, phosphorus with sodium hypophosphate. So now the next chemical property is reaction with halogens. This property is most important property in case of sodium hydroxide. Reaction with halogens. So this reaction with halogens with sodium hydroxide takes place in two conditions. The first condition is cold and dilute conditions. First condition is cold and dilute conditions. Second condition is hot and concentration. So first condition is cold and dilute condition. Second one is hot and concentrated condition. So when halogens reacted with sodium hydroxide, major conditions. So when halogens reacted with sodium hydroxide except fluorine does not participate in this type of reactions. So they produces Okay, so when we are taking cold and dilute conditions, so when halogens reacted with sodium hydroxide except fluorine, they produces hypohalides Okay, hypohalides and halides. I am taking an example. So I am writing Cl2 plus NaOH. So I am taking two molecules. So then they are producing, so NaCl, NaCl plus NaOCl plus hydrogen, NaH2O plus H2O. So here this is sodium chloride, that means halide. Sodium chloride, halide. Okay, so this is sodium hypochlorite. Sodium hypochlorite. So in case of bromides, so two molecules of NaMH, same reaction takes place, but in the place of chlorine, it is bromine takes place. NaOBr plus H2O plus H2O. This is sodium hypobromide. Sodium hypobromide. It produces hypohalides. It produces hypohalides. Similarly, iodine also participated in the reaction. It produces NaI plus NaOI plus water. But in case of fluorine, the same reaction takes place. F2 plus 2 molecules of NaOH. It does not produces this type of hypohalides. So it produces OF2 plus 2 NaF. I am taking fluorine also 2 molecules, 2F2 plus H2O plus H2O. So this is oxygen difluoride. Okay, oxygen difluoride. So in case of other halogens, chlorine, bromine, iodine, when reacted with NaOH at cold and dilute conditions, they are producing hypohalides and halides. But in case of fluorine, it is produces oxygen difluoride and halides. Oxygen difluoride and halides. That is the difference. Whereas coming to the next second condition, hot and concentrated condition. Hot and concentrated conditions. So when halogens except fluorine, halogen undergo reaction with NaOH at a hot and concentrated condition. Except fluorine, they gives halides and halides. This is hypohalides. So this is halides. There is the difference between them. So in hot and concentrated conditions, they produce halides and halides except fluorine. Except fluorine. I am writing some reactions at here. I am taking Cl2. So plus 6 molecules of NaOH. So here I am taking 3 NaCl. 3 Cl2. So they are producing 5 molecules of NaCl plus 5 molecules of NaCl plus NaClO3. This is sodium chloride. This is sodium chloride. Similarly, water molecules also produces. So here we are looking at that is it is 3 molecules. 3 molecules of water is produces. Here I am writing again another example. 3Br2 plus 6 molecules of NaOH. So it produces 5 molecules of NaBr plus NaBrO3 plus 3H2O. Both the reactions are same, but in first reaction there is a chlorine is present. In second reaction there is bromine is present. This is sodium bromide, halide ions. Okay, so and this is sodium borate. Okay, sodium borate. Okay, so this is the so reaction with bromine. In case of iodine also plus sodium iodate is produces. Sodium iodate is produces. So now coming to the fluorine. In case of fluorine, F2. So now coming to the fluorine, so it gives oxygen. It gives oxygen. So when reacted with fluorine with hot and concentrated conditions, it produces oxygen. Okay. Here I am writing the chemical reaction that is participate in this reaction. So 2 molecules of F2 plus 4 molecules of NaOH which is undergo reaction. So they are producing oxygen plus 4 molecules of NaF plus 2H2O. This is the chemical reaction that is involved in the reaction between fluorine and NaOH. Fluorine and NaOH at hot and concentrated conditions. So these are the two conditions that are participated, that are involving in the reaction between halogens and NaOH. In case of cold and dilute conditions, except fluorine, they are producing hypohalides and halides. In hot and concentrated conditions, except fluorine, they are producing halide ions and halide ions. Halide ions and halide ions. But in case of fluorine, when reacted with NaOH at cold and dilute conditions, it produces oxygen difluoride and halides. Oxygen difluoride and halides. But in coming to the hot and concentrated condition, when fluorine react with NaOH, it produces oxygen and halide and halides. This is the reaction of NaOH with halogens. Now coming to the next chemical property of sodium hydroxide is reaction with metals. Reaction with metals. So when NaOH react with metal, so H2 is liberated. Okay, H2 is liberated. When NaOH react with metals, H2 liberated. It not participated reaction with it not participate in the reaction with alkali metals. NaOH does not participate in the reactions with alkali metals. Now coming to the some of the examples which are participated in the reaction with NaOH, I am taking Zn plus here form sodium zincate. This is sodium zincate. Okay, if we are taking aluminium plus then so Na2 AlO2 plus 3 molecules of hydrogen is produced. This is sodium meta-aluminate. Sodium meta-aluminate. So if you are taking tin, so 2NaOH, it produces Na2SnO2 plus hydrogen. This is sodium stannite. Sodium stannite. And we are taking lead. So 2 molecules of NaOH, so it produces Na2PbO2 plus H2. This is sodium plumbite. Sodium plumbite. So these are the reactions of metals when NaOH between the reactions of metals and NaOH. So this one is reaction with zinc produces sodium zincate. So and reaction with aluminum, it produces sodium metaaluminate, and reaction with tin, so it produces sodium stannate, and reaction with lead, it produces sodium plumbate. Sodium plumbate. So this is the pure form. This is the pure form of the molecules, so metals. So but these reactions also takes place in case of compounds of these metals. I am taking ZnO, Al2O3. Okay, so SnO2 alage, that means PbO2. So these reactions also takes place, and that means the chemical reactions of metals with that means NaOH also participated in the reaction with oxides of metals. Oxides of metals. So both reactions are takes place, either pure formed metals or oxide forms of the metals. Both are reacted with NaOH. So coming to the last topic, so that is uses. That is uses of sodium hydroxides. So first one is, it is used petroleum refining, that means purification of petrol. So sodium hydroxide is used in the purification of petrol. So it is used in the preparation of soaps. Soaps also prepared by using NaOH, and drugs and different types of chemicals are prepared by using sodium hydroxide, and even the dyes, color compounds are also prepared by using sodium hydroxide. And it is used as laboratory reagent. It is used as a laboratory reagent. So it is used in the mercerizing process of cotton. Mercerizing process of cotton. That means so it will improve first one, fiber property. So after the purification of cotton, when it is treated with NaOH, the cotton is treated with NaOH, then the fiber property increases. The fiber property increases, and luster property increases, and dye affinity. So and that means the accepting of dye nature is also increases, and shrink nature is also, that means the age of the cotton is also increases. The age of the cotton is also increases. By using NaOH in the mercerizing process of cotton, we can improve the ability of fiber nature, luster nature, dye nature, and shrink nature. So all these properties are improved by using NaOH in cotton. So these all are uses of NaOH. Again, okay, so this is about the sodium hydroxide preparations, physical properties, chemical properties, and uses. Thank you to everyone.